taking their time right behind my back, and I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette, and a message coming from my eyes says leave it
Today, we're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks, college football, and NFL weekend previews, and we have to cash a squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. Bro, you're doing trick shot home runs from, by the way, a former Ray who couldn't hit shit. Now the Orioles got him. Now he's fucking Barry Bonds. Doing trick shot home runs, Goots, and you can't even get within 10 games of 500, but you can do trick shot home runs. Never seen that before in my life. That's the most Orioles shit I've ever seen.
How is Aaron Judge, the face of the league, Captain America, hopping on a plane before the game even ends? That doesn't make sense when it rattles around in my brain. To be honest, that pisses me off.
There's actually no way. Unbelievable rage bait. Was that a targeted attack? Why were there 20 people at once coming in?
Pretty good at you guys, not gonna lie.
I think I found somebody involved in baseball I hate more than Aaron Judge. This guy right here, this geezer who thinks he's playing left field. Worse than a Disney adult. 4 straight years, Jovan. Look at this one. This one got overturned because he's diving over the... He almost fell on the field. What a loser. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Thursday, episode 760 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you are not tracking your bets on Bookit Sports, start today. The best day to start tracking on Bookit is today, the first day of the NFL season. W Bookit and WNFL. Can we clap it up real quick, ladies and gents? We are so fucking back. We've got the NFL on tonight. Cannot wait. The best division in football plays tonight as well. I hate both these teams' guts, but man, we are blessed. We made it. We made it.
Made it, dude.
Let's go, chat. Let's go, chat. What's up, Rowdy? Congrats on your new partnership, Rowdy. You're him. Don't let anybody tell you differently, okay? Looks like Team Comeback locked in his season-long goat whale at a boy. Make sure you guys tail my season-long goat whale and Jovan's season-long goat whale. I put $500 on Jovan's. I put $1,000 on mine. We're hitting one of those two, if not both. So make sure you guys tail those puppies. And Cameron picks. It's the best division in NFL history. Look it up. Google it. Ask Rock what the best division in NFL history is, and I guarantee you it says the NFC East. Look it up. Google it. Try. Let's go, KP. holding it down on the YouTube. We got Andrew in that beautiful NC State logo. Shout out the ACC. Had great numbers for the ACC in week 1 as well. Don't sleep on it. Pretty solid week from the ACC. We're going to talk a little college football. We will. We'll talk a little NFL. Very excited for the NFL weekend preview. Got some plays that I love, both in college and in the professional NFL this weekend as well. We're going to do the previews after we do the Sharp report for the plays for today. And we're going to start out by doing some Seattle Seahawks talk. Look, I know we got a lot going on today. We want to talk about the Thursday night football game as well. And W Degenerate as well. A party of 46 coming in hot. Fresh off the presses. Ready to attack the slate today. Appreciate you, gents. And thank you to Jen for migrating these sheep over for the stream today. A little early BTL today. We might need the time. T. Crizzy said, fixing to get Chipotle for lunch. Attaboy. What if I told you I got Chipotle again last night?
Dude,
Would you believe me? Would you believe me?
Krabs, you need to be.
I did.
You need to be taken by the barn.
I did. Rowdy, what's your POD, man? Is it Tarleton State? Let me know. All right. Attaboy, S. Dot. Grab as many napkins and forks as you can and get the hell out of there before it's too late. It's like a fucking nuclear bomb went off in Chipotle these days, man. The people in there are zombies. All right. We got a lot to get to today, which means no bullshit, no V8 shotguns, strictly business. Strictly business. Can we recap from yesterday? It was a terrible day.
Moose.
Terrible day.
No. Good offense out there. In, I guess not in Texas, but from Texas and Arizona. Let's
go and look at the Sharp report as well. It's my first losing day in what feels like weeks.
Wow,
Probably wasn't.
Horrific beat from you on that White Sox team total under. Horrific beat from you there. Also, Cubs are green as ball.
Cubs are green.
Yeah, Cubs are green.
Okay. Makes it look a little bit better. A lot of red, though, chat. A lot of reds. And yes, Michael A. Taylor sucked the soul out of me, not in a good way, with a 2-run double, top of the 9th, 2 outs. So that was sweet. Which means we are due for a bounce-back day today, chat. No need to live in the past. Real Nicky Gamble says he's never had Chipotle in his life. Brother.
What?
That is the definition of you need to grow up. What?
Not once.
That is insane. W. Trent getting the yap up and moving this morning as well. Trent showing some serious heart in the Big 2-5. Maybe it's the NFL season coming by and getting him motivated, getting him moving and grooving. W. Trent.
Was there no surge
firing up
there?
the yap earlier today and a surge today. A little 2-piece from Trent.
Wow.
Let's go, Trent.
That might be
Attaboy.
One of his finest.
Yeah, I love it. I love what I'm seeing. All right, let's go ahead and hop in. And no steamed crabs today, guys. We don't have time for it today. We had a lot to go over. So why don't we go ahead and hop in and talk a little bit about the Seahawks, okay? A lot of people are kind of buying into the Seahawks a little bit this year, I feel like, which I don't really understand. They get Sam Darnold, who's a system QB, and this is not a system I want to be a part of. Everybody's all in on JSN as well, and maybe they're right about that. I mean, if this team's losing every game, they might have to pass a lot, and his yards might be free. Who knows? I'm just not that excited. They got Torrey Holden. I like that guy. The rookie out of, I think, Colorado State, I believe is where he went. Yeah. Stud from Colorado State. We'll see how he pans out. He's supposed to start alongside Cooper Kupp and JSN there. Their O-line is, average, I would say. Sam Darnold, I think, is going to suck. We'll talk about that here in a moment. In their defense, I don't know. They're okay. Seahawks defense is always okay. Vegas isn't putting, too much respect on the Seahawks this year. Their win total is only at 7.5. They're plus 170 to make the playoffs. And they seem like kind of a trendy team. And I don't really know why, to be honest with you. Jovan, what else am I missing here, man? I'm not a Kenneth Walker guy. I'm more of a Charbonnet guy. I think they're better off rolling with Charbonnet. But any other comments or thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks before we get to the best bets here?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, regardless, I'm a little bit of a bigger Kenneth Walker guy than you, but regardless, the run game is going to be better. They brought over Kubiak for that reason. So they're going to be a little bit of a more run-heavy team. And I know they've made a pretty big ad in the draft, but I still have questions of whether their offensive line over the course of the season can actually hold up in that factor because they need to be lights out. Shout out Sade with a 5 gifted subber to get us started. Death tax to Sade. Goats. But they're going to be running the ball a little bit. And now you have I don't know. It only really works if you're the Seahawks, just like we found out. I know the Seahawks are not going to be the Saints from last year, but like if you're in constantly trailing game scripts and you're not leading these games, controlling these games, what you've done with the run game means little to nothing, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. So I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. And especially with a pretty imminent Sam Darnold regression year post Kevin O'Connell, I don't really love him.
I certainly don't either. There's a reason why Sam Darnold's touchdown pass is set at 20, and I'm getting a lot of hate for that square already on the feed, which is music to my ears. People are saying, holy smokes, he's only at 20 touchdowns. That over's free. We know how that story goes. Rowdy's POD is the under 5.5 total touchdowns in the Cowboys game tonight. And if that's not available, take the Cowboys on the spread. W Rowdy, I will not be tailing, but I'll be rooting for you, my man. I'll be rooting for you, my man. And I have a similar play we're going to talk about here in a moment that kind of aligns with your POD. And so does Jovan. So W's Rowdy. Keep grinding, my man. Keep killing it. Just Gritty coming in hot as well. Resubbing. Let's fucking go, boys. We made it. Let's go. Just Gritty at a boy. Appreciate you showing up and showing some hearts on a Thursday afternoon. And Sade Whiteman, again, you are goated. We've got a hype train moving and grooving. Let's see if the people keep it alive. We got about 3 more minutes left on that puppy. So before we get into the best bets again, guys, I apologize. Not going to be able to do BTL tomorrow. I have a wedding to go to this weekend that I cannot miss. So unfortunately, no BTL tomorrow. That's why we're doing the extendo episode today. So if you're not able to watch the entire thing today, or if you're looking for plays this weekend, you can always go back and rewatch on the YouTube if you're trying to find out our best bets for the NFL and college football this weekend. Okay? I apologize for missing tomorrow. Nothing I can do. Nothing I can do here, folks. Right?
We'll all be posted on the Bookit Twitters or the BTL Twitter as well. So have those noties on for that.
Yep. If you're not tapped in, if you're not dropping likes, we see the views on there. We don't see enough likes. If you guys are looking at the posts, drop a like on that puppy. It's free and easy. All you got to do is tap the screen once. But yeah, chat, we're going to do a Hail Mary. We're going to do a 5 guys. We're going to do a BTL season-long NFL lineup this afternoon as well and put that out on the BTL account. So a lot going on. A lot going on. And I know you guys have been requesting heavily that Hail Mary lay. We're going to craft one up. All right? We're going to craft one up for you guys. Don't you worry. Okay? Just keep that hype train moving and grooving. All right? We appreciate you guys. I know. It's been a while since we've done the 5 guys in the Hail Mary lay. I'm excited. Okay. Let's go ahead and hop into our best bets for the Seahawks here. Give me less than 20 touchdown passes from Sam Darnold. If you're tailing this on the books, it's at 20.5. If you're taking this on Prize Picks, it's at 20. It's not going to matter. It's not going to be close. Sam Darnold is a system QB, bless his heart. And I'm just not seeing it with the Seattle offense. Like Jovan said, Gary Kubiak comes in. It's going to be more run heavy, if anything. And there's a reason why, if you look at the Prize Picks board and go to the pass and touchdowns category, the weirdest looking square in that category is Sam Darnold's passing tutties after he had a bazillion last year. And he's eclipsed this number a couple times now. Pretty crazy. It's down to 20, and probably for good reason. It's not going to sniff anywhere near 20 passing touchdowns. Look, everybody's all over JSN and thinking Cooper Kupp's going to bounce back. I'm just not seeing it, boys. And I have Cooper Kupp on my dynasty team, but I'm not very excited, or I don't really have any expectations, to be honest with you, with him or this offense for Seattle. So not expecting many passing touchdowns. There's a reason why this number is so low after he was so good the last couple seasons. Fade Sam Darnold. He's a system QB. Do not forget it. Okay? He's not getting more than 20 touchdowns.
Yep. And he's not winning 9 games either, which
no.
As much as we've talked about, some of the other divisions of football, this one, I guess, piques my interest the most. And we've talked about how good pretty much every team in the division can be, even like the Seahawks included, if all things go right. But I think they're the team that falls a little short of everything. I think you're going to need Darnold to make some plays, especially when you're not in positive game scripts like we were talking about with this revamped run game. That's still going to be good, but he is a system quarterback at the end of the day. And I don't think you're going to see him make those plays, especially when you're putting a lot on his shoulders, I think, when push comes to shove in a lot of these division games. But even like some of the other tougher defenses they face are not very easy too. So I think they're the team that catches the short end of the stick in the NFC West.
Short end of the stick. I agree. All right. Fade in Seattle this year, if you guys can't tell, not very high on them. And we have now done a best bet. We've done coverage on every single NFL team. All of them. The last, 3 weeks? Month? So if you guys missed it, if you want to hear us talk about your team, if you're curious about our thoughts on your team, you can always go back and rewatch on the YouTube. We've done these at the beginning of every show for the last month or so. Go check it out. Go check it out. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, please do that, guys. It's free and it helps more than you know. We're trying to get to 20K subbies, in the next week or so. Please get involved. If you have not already, it helps more than you know.
Every single description in the video has the name of the team, and most likely it's in the title of the episode as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. W Goots. Good shit, my man. I know it's not the most fun, and I know it takes a lot of your time. We appreciate you doing that shit. Okay? You're him. You're him, Goots. Don't forget it. Or himmy, as you would say. Okay? Zachary Mower, what's up, Beast? Good to see you lurking in the YouTube. We've got a lot of Moe's talk in the YouTube. That's a typical YouTube move. Contrarian not being in the Twitch right now while we're live. Going with Moe's. You know what? The Moe's stack is good. The Moe's stack is good, and their queso is the best. I got no hate on Moe's. Chipotle is just, I like it better. I prefer it. Cohen's Cake. It's my birthday today, gents. Need something to pay for the drinks tonight, lol. Cohen's Cake. Happy birthday, my man. You're him. Let's go, Cohen's Cake. Atta boy. Big Cheesy said W Fantasy Football Podcast boys took some recs and got an F. Draft grades are overrated. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's honestly the worst grade you get from ESPN or wherever else, the better your team is more likely going to be.
Especially ESPN.
Yeah.
Yep. The worse grade you get, the better. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know what IBM Watson's on or whatever analytics they're using, but I swear to God, the worse ranking my draft team gets, the better my team does. That's easily. So makes no sense, but that's actually a good thing. Big Cheesy W's. All right. Can't wait to be raging because of my Seahawks every Sunday. KP, brutal. Yeah, it's not going to be a good year for your Seahawks, but let's move and groove. Enough yapping about the Seahawks. Okay? Wait till Krabs comes to Atlanta and has Willies for the first time. I like Atlanta, Bo Adams. I'm a fan. We'll be down there again at some point. All right? Johnny Hobbs says he's ready to crack a beer later and watch some football. That makes all of us. Johnny Hobbs. Yep. Going to be a great night when the NFL is on TV. Let's go. Excited to see how Dak performs. I'm not extremely high on Dak tonight, but extremely high on Dak this season. So we'll see how tonight goes. I've seen a lot of Cowboys bets, and I've even seen some under bets. We'll see how it plays out. Okay? Jay Thorpe said, cannot wait for the mac and cheese review. Just wait till we do the college football weekend preview, my man. You're going to you're going to fall out of your chair. Okay? All right, let's move. Let's groove. Let's get right into the action here. We don't have time to mess around or make jokes or have fun today. We're going to lock in and give you guys some winners on the Sharp reports. And then we're going to do the college football weekend preview. And then we're going to do the NFL weekend preview. And then we're going to craft up a squad ride. You guys ready? Let's move. Let's groove. Okay? Let's hit the Sharp report and go over our favorite plays for today. And I'll get it started with a little fade on the Pirates and back in the Dodgers here, kind of, or at least back in Blake Snell in their bullpen. The Pirates are hot. And the Pirates always play the Dodgers well. I don't know what it is. Actually, I do. It's the Dodgers having a little Yankees in them. And every time they play a shit team, they play down to their comp. And every time they play a good team, they play up to their comp. The Dodgers have also not looked great of late either. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. And they're on probably their worst stretch of the season, low key. Pirates have won 4 of their last 5. So 2 teams trending in opposite directions. Smells like the perfect contrarian spot to hop on the better team here in the Dodgers. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to back Blake Snell to go out there and shove. If you look at the Blake Snell earned runs allowed square on Prize Picks, it looks like a pretty free more than based on how green it is. And considering the Pirates have had the Dodgers number this season in general, and they're just playing better of late. They just won 3-0 yesterday, and they won 9-7 the game before. So if anybody's going to back the Pirates, it'll probably be today, considering they're red hot. And that's exactly what we want to fade this team. So go ahead and give me the Pirates team total under. I think Blake Snell shoves. I think this is a low-scoring game. I like the under in the game as well, but this is how I'm going to play it. And after 2 just whale shit team total unders yesterday, we're hitting this one. We're getting our lick back. I did not want to involve Paul Skeens because he has that 1.5 earned runs allowed goblin square, which kind of scared me off the full game under and kind of scared me off of the first 5 under. Instead, let's just fade that Pirates offense that's been red hot, back Blake Snell to shove, and the Dodgers need a win. And they've not used their A bullpen here in a while. They haven't needed to. So they're going to use it tonight. And they're going to close this puppy out. And the Pirates aren't scoring more than 4 or more than 3. Excuse me. Take the team total under 3.5 for the Pirates.
Sure. I agree with that. And that square did not scare me off first 5 under. So I'll piggyback and go straight there. I think, especially on the Pirates side, bullpen usage wise, I think this has a chance to get pretty weird and the Dodgers score runs late, especially depending on what the leash looks like on Skeens today. Again, it's pretty weird. I guess every time out, you don't really know what you're going to get. The last 2, I guess, starts have looked somewhat back to normal, but you never know, especially the fact that we're in September now and he's making starts and what the fuck are you playing for? But at the very least, I think he's going to give you a very, very strong 5. And same goes for Blake Snell. The Pirates have been great and they have some voodoo magic, especially at home, but against lefties, they still haven't been anything close to world beaters. And especially against Snell, who loves to generate some chase, the Pirates still do that at a pretty high rate. So I think this is a perfect formula for a good start for him today. So I do think we start off at the very least pretty slow in this game. And again, I think there's a possibility, just like the Cubs-Braves game went yesterday, even though that didn't end up sending it over, some weird bullpen stuff for the Dodgers, I guess, their offense against the Pirates bullpen late in the game.
Yep. Love this. I guess I took it one step further and just faded the Pirates in general, but I do like this first 5 under 3.5 as well. And looks like you're back in the red hot White Sox.
Red hot.
Sure.
I wanted to do this yesterday, but I was tipping cap there, and that really shouldn't have hit in the first place. But you know, who's pitching today against them, Krabs?
Who?
Taj fucking. You know what he did last start? Absolutely dominated for I think the first time possible. And I don't know what it is. He has like both. I think he made his first start with the Twins against the White Sox, but even with the Rays, I don't know what voodoo magic the White Sox have over him. No matter who he's pitching against, no matter what lineup they put out there, he looks like shit damn near every single time. And for a very in his head guy like Taj Bradley is, that's something that I'm perfectly fine buying. But I also think that the lineup that looked dead for a majority of the game last night until the 9th inning started to get hot again. They're riding this momentum. I want to keep getting into it, especially since I think there's going to be a little sense of urgency, being the fact they have like a not quite bullpen game, but it's like Fraser Ellard opener. I think they're going with Cannon, so like they're going to have to score some runs. And Taj is getting plenty of hard contacts, and for once, like kind of avoided that against the Padres, which was the weirdest thing of all time. But now I think he gets back to his normal Taj Bradley ways.
Okay. Yeah, he sucks. And the Rays gave up on him, traded him for a bag of chips. And that goes to show what they think about him. And the Rays are pretty much right about everything. So, yeah, let's fade him after a legacy start. No need to overthink this puppy and back some runs from the White Sox. We know what to do with streaks in baseball. You keep backing them until they lose. And they've won 4 games in a row. They're pretty close to cashing their win total over as well. I'm seeing people splooging on the feed about that. I think they only need 1 or 2 more wins. Maybe they get one tonight. They're at least going to score a couple runs.
Yeah, hope so.
Cubs. All right, let's go ahead and move and groove. Phillies. Love this play today. Phillies on the ML at plus chicken after they lost last night. I want to back them and Ranger Suarez, who's been pretty bad. But if you go look at his prize pick squares for today, it looks like he's going to absolutely shove, which I thought was a pretty weird occurrence, especially considering they're playing on the road against Milwaukee, everybody's favorite team. So everybody loves Milwaukee. They've already got them penciled in as their World Series champions. And the Phillies have not been, playing their best of late. Not that they've been playing bad, but they're kind of just coasting right now through the end of the season. And Ranger Suarez, that ERA is finally above a 3 now. Still great stats overall this season, but he has not pitched his best of late. If you go look at his prize pick square, charts or his recent history, you'll see that he's not been pitching very good. It's kind of weird timing to see how, much respect he's getting on prize picks for this outing, considering he's been pretty quail shit on the road against the Brew Crew coming off that win last night. So I think Ranger shoves. If you look at some of Peralta's squares, Peralta, nobody's talking about him at all. It deserves more credit and respect. Peralta's been great this season. He's got a 2.5 ERA. Haven't heard one nice thing about Freddie Peralta pretty much this entire season. We tried fading him early on, and we stopped doing that because the guy just shoves every time. But go look at his squares for tonight. He's got a 34.5 fantasy score, which I thought was insane. He's coming off a 52 fantasy score performance against one of the better teams in baseball in the Blue Jays.
4 starts.
Has not given up a run in 4 starts. That is an insane trend. Well, He's got a 1.5 goblin earned runs allowed square, when a lot of people would probably think he just has a normal 1.5 earned runs allowed square. It's a gob, so they're expecting a couple Phillies runs here in this spot. Guys, I know football is on tonight, but I have to say this, and I feel like I've not been pushing hard enough on my plays that I love. The Phillies are winning this game tonight. So if you guys want to win it for the squad ride, keep this play in mind once we get to the end of the show. They're winning this game tonight. They are.
Noted. I'm in.
And they're getting a Freddie Peralta. I know it's not football, but it's a winner. Okay? W. Budman. Sure. Let's go, Budman. W. Jovan and McCrabs. Budman, you're him. I appreciate you putting your name at the end of the message as well, just in case we didn't see the name from who left the message. 41 months. Holy smokes. You're him. You're him. Snack says, Krabs, you're always talking and keeping with streaks, but at the same time, you say, oh, well, they've been bad. Let's back them. Doesn't add up. Snacks, man. Have the Phillies been that bad, dude? They've won 3 of their last 5. They're just kind of, average right now. I don't have time to address that, Snacks, man. Just kick rocks, man.
It's 2 different things, dude.
Kick rocks, dude.
Not fading a streak of a hot team and backing a team that's been playing iffy is not at all the same thing. Not even close. Just let them keep bitching, like every day.
All right, swinging around.
Collab unders, kind of. This game, I think, is going to be very boring for a lot of it, and part of the reason is there's been no dress rehearsal for either of these teams' starters and or quarterbacks for a majority of the preseason. You haven't seen them yet, which I think we found out over the past year as teams are trying to slowly introduce that into the preseason, i.e. the Bengals, among many other teams. You kind of need that, and it helps you early in the season. Now, I've seen a lot of Cowboys right along with you, and I guess I understand somewhat why. Like, it's a lot of points, and talking realistically about this game, I think the Eagles are going to try to impose their will in the trenches a little more than anything. Definitely helps that I think it's supposed to be pretty windy, which is not great for the pass game, and maybe a little rainy at some points in the game. So added weather, I guess, potentially to impact this. But I think a lot of this game is going to center around the Eagles imposing their will on the ground, whether it's with Hurts's legs, whether it's Saquon's legs, or somebody else's legs, a majority of it. But also, I think you're going to have a lot of long drives come as a part of that, which is not great for the Cowboys, not great for what they're going to do. And I think the Cowboys, too, as much as we love Dak this year, he didn't have a dress rehearsal. He's coming off a massive injury. I think there's going to be some big-time rust on his side. And I also don't think the offense is going to be completely open for them, not just because they're playing this Eagles defense that probably takes a little bit of a step back, especially in terms of the secondary this year, but not enough to be determined as just a not good defense anymore. It's a tough defense, and you're playing in Philly to start the year. I find it hard to believe that after a long offseason of rehab and him not really fully getting ramped up for the season, that they're going to let Dak go out there and throw the ball 50 times for 400 yards tonight. I don't think that's the game plan. The game plan with the offense, that Schottenheimer has said, even though, again, we love Dak and we think he's going to air it out because the game scripts are going to be in, they still want to run the ball a little bit more, which it was not even a part of their offense last year, the slightest bit, because they didn't have the guys for it. You can argue they don't really have the guys for it this year, but they're going to try and run the ball, especially early, a little bit more. So I don't think this game is going to be one that gets too far out of hand early on. I think this is going to be a who makes the first mistake type of game. And then it's going to open up a little bit after that. And I think there's not going to be very many points. It's not going to be too exciting. A lot of field goals. There's a lot of defense early on and a lot of playbooks that I think are pretty vanilla, at least to start the game. I don't think it's going to open up until late.
I agree. I'm going first quarter under 9.5. Slow start. Have to fade the offenses early, coming off a Super Bowl, and the Cowboys still trying to get their shit together. First quarter under 9.5. Let's go to the Prize Pick squares. Jovan, get us started off if you don't mind. Let's go to your squares here real quick and see what you're crafting up for tonight.
Yeah. Saquon after career high in carries, of course. I think it was 50 more than he's had in any other season. Obviously, a lot of that's because he's had some injury seasons where he's missed a couple games. He was, for the most part, perfectly healthy. 345 carries. We know that there's going to be some, I guess, responsibility in the run game taken away from him throughout this. And in a game where I think not only are from the Eagles side, like I said, I don't think the playbook's going to be completely open for them just to be taking shots to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, especially when both of them are dealing with, pretty minor injuries. I think you're going to get a lot of people involved in the run game. And I think Will Shipley's the guy. That square's also been taking up, which like they've had the stuff on the board for a while now. I don't know why Will Shipley of all of them is like the highest increase, I guess I've noticed out of all the squares on the board. But I think he's going to be pretty involved today, even if it just takes a couple runs or one, if the Cowboys defense is that bad against the run this year, to find this out, which this square I've seen bouncing a lot of different places, but surely was not touching any. I think it doubled since the first square was first up, which was interesting. So taking that, then Skeen's insane chart hasn't been great as of recent. He brings his big stuff against the Dodgers today. Slightly daytime Dodgers too, being that they're on the East Coast on a 6:40 game, I guess, but it's the getaway game. I think he's going to shut today.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Two great squares. Swinging around, Gates. Blake Snell, less than 1.5 earned runs allowed. Dude's been getting mucked up of late. Taking the Pirates team total under. Javonte Williams, less than 35.5 rushing yards, starting running back for a team and has a 35.5 rushing yards line in a losing game script in a game we like the under in. Perfect combo there. Take the less than yards. Let's move. All right, let's get to the college football weekend preview. All right, chat. We both went 4-3 for the week 1 college football preview. Let's improve those numbers, or at least keep it there, and start out with some snooze fests, some unders. Okay. I'm going with a division, or not a division, just a rivalry between Iowa and Iowa State here. Taking the under after I keep getting burned on unders in Iowa State games. One of these puppies has to hit eventually. And I want to fade Rocco Becht, who has a goblin interception square up there on Prize Picks, which is crazy. I think Iowa's defense is going to absolutely ball out this season. I mean, that's not really a hot take. They're good every season. That's the only way this team wins games. Total in this game is dropping from 45.5 to 41.5. I want to fade Iowa State's offense when everybody's hopping on that bandwagon, and Rocco Becht, whose squares make it seem like he's not going to play well. And for some reason, Iowa's QB, Gronowski is getting a lot of love for like 1 or 2 clips that went viral this offseason, which is just ridiculous. He's still an Iowa QB, and nothing's going to change there. They're coming off a win in their last game where they dropped 34 points against Albany. Give me a break. That shouldn't even count. Why is that even on the schedule? Fade the offenses in this game. They've looked really good so far in a small sample. This is a perfect spot to fade in a big-time matchup, and that total's dropping 4 points.
Sure. I'm in. Gronowski is not good. I think we can put that to bed. He had like not many more yards than I think they had points in that game, because he had like 40-something. So,
yep,
would be goated. I went first half under in Michigan OU, one of the bigger games of the weekend. I will continue to fade freshmen or newer situation quarterbacks when they go to very tough road environments for their first real big-time, big boy football. And Bryce Underwood, as good as I do think he's probably going to be down the line and maybe in a couple games here, you're going to face a Venables defense that's really good at stopping a lot of the stuff that you run, and he's going to set a lot of pressure, and this is your first road game, first real true test start. So I think this is a really tough spot for him, and I guess the line in the game kind of indicates that too. Oklahoma's pretty, bigger favorites than I probably would have thought in this game, but regardless, I think this game's going to start out pretty slow. I'm not a John Mateer believer either, and especially against that defense. I don't think Oklahoma's going to run the ball all that effectively, and I think the fact that they're talking about Jay not being used a little more than they were in the first game does not mean I think they're going to run the ball more. I think they know they're not going to be able to, and they're going to use him in the pass game a little bit. So I love if that's a square, but probably won't be. But I think this is going to start out as a chess match with both of these D coordinators bringing out the whole bag.
Yep. Love this under. Like the full game under, like any way you can play this under. And we'll talk more about this game when we get to the Prize Pick squares. Okay? Dubs. Let's move. We've got some overs, some shootouts. Lost my shootout last week in that Utah State game after they got off to a great start. So I'm going to back the highest total in college football this weekend. That's Texas State and UTSA. These teams don't play a lick of defense. That's not changing this weekend. And UTSA is coming off of playing a pretty good opponent in Texas A&M. So that's the best team they'll face, best defense they'll face all year. So they should have better results. in week 2. And honestly, I mean, they put up 24 points, which against Texas A&M is kind of impressive for UTSA. So offense has never been the issue, never going to be the issue with this team. And I think they have pretty high expectations for the rest of the season. They're probably going to have a big old win here against Texas State, who just put up a 52-piece against Eastern Michigan. There's a reason why this is the highest total of the weekend, folks. Game soaring over. There might not be a single punt in this puppy. No Tress Way in sight. Take the over and enjoy the show.
Sure. I think the game's going to be unbelievable. I went with UNC Charlotte. We all saw how bad UNC's defense was in week 1. I don't think there's going to be that much of a step up in this one, especially because this is I don't want to say rivalry game because they have bigger rivals, but it's an in-state game where Charlotte, this is their Super Bowl, especially after last week. You saw you can take your shots after how vulnerable the defense looked. And not only do they have that, but I believe Connor Harrell is still going to be starting quarterback for Charlotte, and that's a revenge game for himself. So I do think he's a big boomer gust guy. He's either going to have some really bad turnovers, which he probably will, but he'll also have, I think, a lot of shots down the field. There's no real in between with him, I think, especially with how the way it's going to go in this game. So I think after watching what you could do to that defense, where they have shuffled a lot of starters now, they just released their depth chart. It's a lot of new pieces on the defense. The depth is in question. I think Charlotte's going to be very, very aggressive with a lot of these big play shots early on, and I think some of them will result in really bad turnovers and quick points for UNC, but I think at the very least the UNC offense, I believe Gio Lopez is still going to be starting, is going to have a much easier time running the ball and in the short pass game against the Charlotte defense than, against TCU front that gave them fucking fits.
Yep. And everybody was on Charlotte last week, and they got absolutely blown out. That was the fake sharp POD along with Northwestern. So they probably end up covering this game and putting up plenty of points to help you with this over.
Be great.
Swing it around, Goots. Where are we heading to next, my man? How about some blowouts? Not typically extremely crabby here, I guess. Well, I guess it probably gets canceled out with Kansas State being involved.
Yeah, they almost
Archie
lost to North
Gambles.
Dakota.
Yeah, well, almost, right? Archie Gambles, your him, W College Football previews. Appreciate you getting involved, Archie, and staying positive and saying nice things. And subbing. I do have the chat turned off for the rest of the show today. So locking in and finishing strong here, going over these winners for the weekends. Kansas State, like Jovan just said, barely just snuck out a win last second in their last game. Extremely embarrassing. 2 terrible games to start out this year. They lose to Iowa State over there in Ireland. Heartbreaking fashion. They're like the Hokies. It's like they're hanging around. They give you a little bit of buy-in just for nothing. And then they barely beat North Dakota on that last drive. Crazy. Have to back Kansas State here because, as soon as they win, it's going to be by a lot. And it's going to be a splooge fest. And we know it's in there. We do. And it helps that they're playing this Army team that's a shell of themselves compared to last year. Guys, we just saw Army lose to Tarleton. Shout out Rowdy. We just saw Army lose to Tarleton, a $250,000 buy game. Army just lost. This is no Navy we're talking about here, guys. This is Army who lost their entire team from last year, and they look like a shell themselves. And Jovan, Army's QB, really their only good player, the guy who took over for Bryson Daly, he got hurt in week 1. So that sucks. It's not ideal. You never want to see that. But he did get hurt. And as soon as he got hurt, Army couldn't move the rock at all. How is that going to change against Kansas State? So as square as that narrative might be, people still have, a relative respect for Army, number one, because it's a military academy, as they should. Number two, Army's been really good the last couple of years. Guys, maybe the biggest fall off from a team in college football compared to last year has to be this year's Army team, especially now on their, third QB in 1.5 seasons now, if you count Bryson Daly from last season. So it's going to be tough moving the rock. I thought about just fading Army's team total and taking the team total under there, but I got a little bit worried about the fourth quarter because I think Kansas gets up big and early in this one, and maybe you see the backups playing for the Wildcats, and then maybe you see Army move the rock because Army's never going to give up. So instead of taking that team total under, which I do like at 14.5 for Army, I'm going to go ahead and lock in Kansas State to blow the doors off of Army here in this game at home. When this game, they have to prove to themselves, to their home crowds, to their families, their loved ones, their wives, their girlfriends, their kids, that this Kansas State team deserved the preseason respect that they were getting. And I think they absolutely splooge against the Black Knights here at home in this game at 7 p.m. on ESPN, prime time. I'm sure ESPN is regretting that decision when they scheduled that puppy, but this one's going to be a blowout.
Kansas State might need it. after that shit game, both shit games. But I could be on
Great
that.
spot to back Kansas State.
Has to be. Then I'm going to ride the hopefully future wagon with Memphis. Weird game because they're going to Georgia State, and ask Vandy how weird that shit can get when you go to Georgia State. But I think it doesn't work out for Memphis in the same way of Vandy did, because this new Georgia State team, I guess, where they do have like some relatively solid power additions or power conference additions on the defense. Their whole strategy is just sit back, be super aggressive in the secondary, try to generate picks. If there's any like offensive system that is very good at taking that away from you or using it against you, it's Memphis. And I'm very aware this is not like Seth Hennigan, Paxton Lynch, where you're going to be slinging the ball 50 times down the field with 30-yard shots every single time. It's not Brendan Lewis's game, but when you have a run front that is not good, which is one of the reasons why they do that. I think all of the running backs that Memphis has, which I was very shocked at how much. I know that it was an FCS game, but I was shocked at how many they used for however long in terms of game one against Chattanooga. But the run game is going to be fucking great. It's going to be one of the best in the American Conference. I think you're going to see that plenty. And then I also think you're going to see some very well-timed downfield shots to take advantage of how aggressive that Georgia State secondary is. Like, they gave up 63 points against Ole Miss, but they also picked off Austin Simmons twice because they're baiting him into a couple of these picks. So that's all they want to do, to be honest with you. And I think Memphis is going to take advantage of that a lot of times. And I also think like their only offense against Ole Miss was running the football, and that was late in the game for the most part. Memphis is going to load the box. That's what they're going to do, I think, a majority of this offseason or majority of this season, because that's their strength. They also want to kind of force you to do the same thing. So Georgia State's pass game with Below, the former Pitt quarterback, not really there.
Yep.
And I can guarantee you they're going to test that a lot early on. See if he can throw. I don't think he can.
Okay, back in your darling here, your little Cinderella story, Memphis laying about 2 touchdowns. Love it. Great sell job.
Sure.
Swinging around, Goots, let's talk about some underdogs. Upset alert. Upset alert. Let me get Baylor. Who wants to back him after last week, man? It really is as simple as that. Probably nobody. Probably nobody. And I want to fade SMU damn near every game this season. This is going to be this one means more POD or game of the week or game of the season for Baylor, their coach, who just had the worst game plan ever last week, playing prevent defense the whole fucking game. I don't know what they were doing. No faith in their corners whatsoever against Auburn, and 0-0 QB spy against what? Peyton Thorne is his name on Auburn?
Jackson Arnold.
Jackson
pretty
Arnold,
much. He's pretty much Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, might as well be. But he look, I'll give credit. I'll tip cap. He had a great game. Now he had the easiest, opportunities to break off 20-yard runs and find wide open receivers because Baylor was playing prevent and they weren't looking to defend him at all, playing QB. So super weird. The defensive game plan there for Baylor, a team that typically has a better defense than that. And they got embarrassed by Auburn at home. Now they go on the roads playing against an SMU team that's ranked, an SMU team that made the college football playoffs last year, an SMU team that just beat A&M, Eastern Tennessee A&M, 42-13. So they did their job. They might not have covered that 50.5, but they destroyed a really crummy team and did their job there. So SMU still ranked 17. They should be laying 10 in this game after how Baylor played in week 1 and after how they're doing and how they did last season. Spread's actually down from 6.5 to 2.5. You guys know I'm a sucker for a plus 2.5. Give me the Baylor Bears. This game simply means more. And I'm a big Sawyer Robertson guy. I still believe he didn't look unbelievable in that game, but he still showed flashes. I still think he's the guy. He's up for 280.5 passing yards. God, he had 419 yards. Didn't know it was that many in week 1 against Auburn.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. So he filled up the stat sheet plenty. He's the guy. And he's going to move the rock. Their running back is going to play a little bit better. He's going to get more carries. Looking at some of the squares that are up there on Prize Picks as well. And SMU, I just think is a big old fraud that we got to fade every week. And if we do, we're going to make coins. And Baylor down to plus 2.5 is hilarious on the roads. You should be getting steam the other way. Not moving down to plus 2.5 for Baylor after that terrible week 1 performance. So, yep, go ahead and give me the points. My favorite spread to back in college football, just in general, plus 2.5.
Let's go. Shout out the Bears and shout out another team in Texas. I guess 2 teams in Texas because it's the Bayou Bucket Day, Krabs. The Houston rivalry between Rice and the Houston Cougars. Rice is a weird team because they're like I I don't know what to compare them to exactly because they're a big rushing attack offense. Like they're not completely Army, Navy, or Air Force, but they're probably a little closer to like imagine what Coastal Carolina's offense looks like. Just imagine if they didn't really care to pass the ball. That's what Rice is going to be a lot this year. And they got a big win, ugly win, big win over ULL to start the year, which I thought was pretty impressive. And now you get to go see Houston and Connor Wigman and in your house, which is a big change. And they're breaking out the cool powder blue unis, which would be so sick. And that might be a Mikey over uniform bet. But I think this game is going to be tight and defensive. That's not a hot take because I think the total is now in the 30s, which is hilarious. But both these teams want to run the ball. Connor Wigman, I know you probably don't want to show stuff early on, and that was the first game with him. But the past game, the Houston wide receivers are fucking terrible. They have no wide receiver room. Their best wide receiving options or pass catching options are probably going to come out of the backfield, which one of those guys, funny enough, is Dean Connors, who was at Rice last couple of years. So a lot of the pass game was within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. If you want to do that against the Rice defense, sure, that's exactly what they want you to do. That's their strength. I think this game is going to be tight, defensive, and I honestly think this weird little option style offense that Rice has is a really good matchup against this Houston team that, again, another one of these defenses that's really aggressive, like somewhat fundamentally sound, I guess they what seemed early in the year. But I think this is a weird offense to see week 2 of the season, especially when you don't know too much about this team. So this screams like a 17-14 type game where I think Rice honestly has a chance to win.
Wow. Our yearly Rice bet, always on the show. You take it at least once. At least once.
Just once.
Okay. W. Rice coming off a big-time win in week 1. Houston's not good, man. They're falling apart down there. Fade them. Take the points. Rice is in their home stadium here. They should get it done and keep it within 2 tutties. Sure.
Yep. Take home the Bayou bucket.
Yep. Powder blue unis. Love it. All right, let's move. I think we're talking meat on tapes. Virginia Tech money line. They're not losing that game.
Krabs. 2 weeks in a row.
San Diego State, Washington State over. What do you got?
I think this is a sneak. Good week for overs because can't say that too much, but I know we were talking with, a bunch of random people in fucking Chapel Hill, but a lot of offenses that sucked in week 1, which San Diego State was not one of those offenses, but Washington State was. They had a game that was 13-10 against FCS Idaho, and they benched their starting quarterback for a majority of the game. Then he came back and led the game-winning field goal drive with time expiring in the fourth quarter, which I think is kind of cool. He wasn't great all game, but he made throws when it matters. I think that's a huge confidence boost. And SDSU, Jaden Denegal, who came from Michigan, looked great, I guess, for them. Granted, it was also against Stony Brook, another FCS team, but the defense also pitched a shutout in the game that was 42-0. W's if you were sweating that game out with us, because that was the one game we could stream in week 0 or in week 1, which was sick. But I think San Diego State is going to come out, and the defense isn't going to look nearly as good, obviously. And if we know anything about Washington State's offense, they're electric. They're going to be that way. And I think after a slow week 1 where nothing was really clicking, you're going to see it click a lot more this week, which I think it's a great spot for both of these offenses to, I guess, not bounce back because San Diego State looked fine, but I think it's going to be very different through the air. But Washington State, especially, I think is going to come with the classic Washington State aerial attack that we know and we love.
Points. 2 words. Points. All right. Let's go talk some prize pick squares here. I got 2 that I absolutely love. Darian Mensah, the only square up in this category. Make sure that's still the case. Yeah, it is. And if you check the chart, it's extremely green. Duke is the fake sharp POD this weekend. Go ahead and repeat that for the people in the back. Duke is the fake sharp POD this weekend. All the annoying accounts on Twitter were already sniffing this one out a couple days ago, saying, why is this spread at 2.5? Why is this spread at 3? Duke gets some respect, and people like this Darian Mensah kid. I was not that surprised to see the spread at 3 for Illinois, like everyone else was, to be honest with you. So I think this is the fake sharp PODs, Duke. And I want to fade the offenses. I also like the under in this game as well. So perfect scenario to fade Darian Mensah, QB that I do like overall, just not in this game, in this spot against a really good defense, in my opinion, in Illinois. So fade it. Only square up in this category. I love fading squares that are the only ones up in the category because it looks like the freest more than of all time as well. The chart is completely green. Fade Darian Mensah. fade Duke, fake sharp POD is Duke this weekend. And then
go.
John Mateer, people are already giving him the Heisman Trophy after one good game against a terrible defense. Go look at his chart for his passing touchdowns. Looks extremely green as well. And this is one of the more popular squares of the weekend, too. I really like this under in this game, and he's going to be facing a much better defense this weekend compared to week one. And I'm with you on the under in this game. I really like it. I'll be tailing that puppy. And I want to fade John Mateer, who's facing an actual good defense for the first time this season. And I do think Michigan might even cover this game, but I'm not going to go that far. Okay, I'll just fade Mateer on his less than passing touchdowns, completely greened out chart.
Yeah, Mateer feels like Arch, 1.5 touchdowns.
Yep.
So I'm in on that for sure.
Oh, nice. They took it off the board.
Yeah, you want to know why? Because just the under. Just fat to the under. Could pop back up, though. Arch was the same thing.
All right. Hopefully people bet the over on the books and it moves the juice back up.
Would be goated.
What do you got?
So good.
Excited to see your squares.
Start with Caden Lee, which, if you remember this game last year, first of all, Ole Miss is blowing the fuck out of Kentucky this week, and that's an honorable mention for the favorite. That's, I guess, the dog that everybody's getting cute with, +10 at home after they just beat them last year. You know how many times Lane Kiffin's had? Because we were talking about it. He always loses to a lot of the teams you should lose to, or at least like the big ranked teams where like you don't get over the hump, you don't get it done. There aren't many times in his tenure where he's lost a game that he really has no business losing. Last year, Kentucky was that game. And now a lot of the reason why is I don't want to say they got too cute on offense. Like they had no offense except for Trey Harris, and they're backed into a corner because Kentucky plays really, really slow. And, you know, if you're Lane Kiffin in that offense, you want to get as many plays as you want. You want to get your tempo involved. You couldn't really do that at the level you want. And a lot of that was because nobody else was involved in the offense when you got the ball other than Trey Harris. A lot of the other receivers were ghosts. A lot of everything else they had in the playbook didn't happen. Caden Lee didn't have much to do with last week, and I think there's a reason for that because he's their big play slot guy that they take their downfield shots with. I can guarantee you they're saving multiple of those shots, especially with him involved, just for this game. Lane Kiffin is not only smart, but he's also a petty motherfucker. So I can guarantee you there's something crazy he has in the bag for Kentucky. He's pissed. They're pissed. They're going to come out firing in this game, and this is who you do it with, which he's one of the very few receivers that didn't do much last week. Like Harrison Wallace had a great game, and his receiving yards are lower than this and got bumped down. Caden Lee started lower than him and is headed up to 55.5 now. I think he's getting this in 2 catches, maybe 1, depending on how long the shot ends up being. But I think he's going to be utilized a lot this week. And then Bryson Washington, you want to know why Baylor couldn't keep their defense off the field? It's because Bryson Washington wasn't getting anything against that defensive line. Plus, he was a little banged up for part of that game, but he's fine. I think Rav's listening. He loved an explosion from last week, and he probably should have gotten it. Maybe could have gotten it if he was a little healthier and the game script didn't suck. I think this is the explosion game that you're waiting for with Bryson Washington, where the SMU run front is good, not great. They're good last year. They've lost some guys, and I don't think they're as physical as Baylor. I think you're going to see that. I think Baylor was outmatched by a line that had, 2 first-round draft picks in it, if we're being realistic, and it's a good defensive line. It's not the same with SMU. I think Baylor's going to want to control this game, control the tempo of it, and I think they do a lot of it with Bryson Washington, both in the rush and receiving game.
Yeah, I hope he does a ton with a Baylor +2.5 ticket in my pocket.
Would be huge.
I'm in. All right, let's head over to, unless you got any honorable mentions or any other games you want to talk about, we can head to the NFL.
No, I can save, I guess, the rest of those for the coin toss that I believe is dropping tomorrow, maybe later tonight.
Later tonight. W plug. Hell yeah. Excited to watch the coin toss week 2. Let's see what you guys are on. All right. Let's go to Move and Groove and head to the NFL Weekend Preview, Goodsy. Start out with some unders, some snooze fests. Guys, if you don't know what's going on here, same thing as we're doing with college that we just did and did last week. It's the NFL Weekend Preview. We're doing 1 under, 1 over, 1 favorite, 1 underdog, and 1 meat on tape play, along with 2 prize pick squares in the NFL. And let's go positive on this weekend's plays. We are here, folks. NFL. Look, I love college and all, but it's not the NFL. Anybody who likes college better is just wrong, unfortunately. NFL is the GOAT. It's the GOAT, and that's not going to change. And we're finally here, guys. We made it to the NFL season. I'm so excited for this game tonight. I'm so excited for NFL Week 1, and especially my Commanders on Sunday. So let's go ahead and start out with some snooze fests. Let me get the under in San Fran and Seattle, the under 43.5 in the 49ers and Seahawks game. The total in this game is dropping a little bit, and that's not really what I care about most in this one. I care about Sam Darnold playing football against one of his former teams, and he's going to look like a fucking bot back there. He's going to be seeing ghosts like he used to on the Jets because he's not in a great system made for the pass, unfortunately. He's in a system that's run heavy, and he's going to look like Jets Sam Darnold compared to, when he was elite the last couple seasons. Sam Darnold's going to not do really much in this game at all, and everybody's on the 49ers laying the points. It's Prime's POD for the weekend, which, look, I'm not going to fade it. I do like the 49ers this season, and I like them in this spot, but I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned, and I don't think they score a lot of points. A lot of guys coming back from injury. You got McCaffrey playing his first game in a while. You got Jawan Jennings playing his first game, or first real action. I guess he's been hurt really this entire offseason, which is kind of bad. And Brock Purdy has some squares up there that make me feel like he's not going to go off this weekend. If you go check some of his passing squares, it's not looking like he's going to absolutely light it up in week 1. So give me the under. If it's, square, I really don't care. And I like the under 43.5 in the 49ers and Seahawks.
Sure. I'm in on that. I'm going to go first half under in the Sunday night revenge game for the Ravens that they're going to win. And I think they do it by keeping the run game for the Bills in check early, as they've all made it a very big point to talk about throughout this week. I think they're going to load the box. And I don't think Josh Allen wants to take those shots early on. I think throughout the season, one of the reasons why I'm, fading or will be fading the Bills a lot during the season, or a lot more than last year at the very least, is because I think Josh Allen's going to take some of those shots eventually, and you're going to see some turnover regression from last year, which was a big thing that we cashed on last year. But in game 1, especially as well as these teams know each other by this point, including, the Ravens last game of last year, I think it's going to be very tight early on. Definitely helps that this is the first primetime under of Sunday Night Football at the very least. I know we have 2, chances today and tomorrow, but primetime under in a game where these teams are very, very familiar with each other. I think it starts out slow. Maybe it ends a little faster, but not with the Ravens defense. I think they're going to lock in on Josh.
Primetime under. I'm in. Let's go to Move and Groove and talk about some overs that we like, some shootouts that we like. I'm seeing points, mainly from the Patriots in this one. Give me the over in the Raiders and the Patriots game. I think Drake May splooges. I like that more than 1.5 pass plus rush plus receiving square. That's an honorable mention there for you. And maybe Gene-T scores a touchdown as well. They got a little normal touchdown square up there for him too. Look, I'm not a big Geno guy, but Geno might put up a couple points against his Patriots defense. It really does not impress me a ton in this game here for Vegas and the Pats. And I do think Drake May is him. I like the Pats to make the playoffs this year. We talked about that a couple weeks ago when we did the Patriots preview. I do think they win this game, but you won't see me taking a -2.5. That's my least favorite bet in the NFL. Instead, let's just back some points and back the offenses to shine. The total in this game is moving up as well from 42.5 to 43.5. It'll probably close even higher. So get this puppy in responsibly before it's too late. I do think the Patriots carry the bulk here of the offense, but I wouldn't be surprised if Geno and the Raiders also show up here and keep it close and put up some points themselves. And hopefully my guy Jacoby Myers is out there in the right headspace and is playing and stuff like that, because if he's not, they're probably screwed. But I haven't heard anything about him sitting out or any bullshit like that. I think he was just bitching about his contract. So give me the over. I think we see points from both sides, but mainly the Pats, and Drake May goes off in this one.
Sure. I'll go with the over in New Orleans, when everybody's going to be sweating, probably a little less this game, more Titans, Broncos, but it's going to be in a lot of survivor pools. I do think there's going to be, just like we talked about when we were talking about the Saints, I think their offense is going to have brighter moments than people think, especially with the head coaching and coordinator change. I think there's a chance that they have like a similar honeymoon stage that they had last year with Kubiak in there, where their offense is pretty good for a couple of games before it flames out. I think this is one of them. And as much as I do kind of like the Cardinals defense this year, I think this is a weird spot because you don't really know what you're going to get from this offense for the first couple weeks until you have some film on them. I think that shows itself, especially at home for a little bit. But I also think against this defense that you're going to be given every opportunity if you're Kyler Murray to take your shots one-on-one against some weak corners and just weak defense overall. Like the run game is going to be fine. I think James Conner can dominate, even like Benson when he's given some carries. Trey McBride has a beautiful matchup, but all the wide receivers are going to have every shot one-on-one for Kyler Murray to take his shots. This feels like the game where he actually comes through with some of those. So I think we get a game that's pretty nuts back and forth before maybe the Cardinals eventually take it, or maybe they just bust every single person's survivor pools that doesn't take the Broncos. Whatever happens, I think it's going to be weird with points.
Right. I could see it. Who wants taking over involving these two teams? Probably nobody, especially the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints.
Right?
Just.
And Rattler, he might throw a pick six. He might throw a pick in his own, side of the field. That might help.
Both of these teams might, to be honest with you. I think there's probably a defensive or special teams touchdown hidden somewhere in this game.
All right. That would be an elite call. All right, let's move. Let's groove, Gootsy. What else we got up next here? Looks like some blowouts. Don't splooge too hard, Gootsy. Ravens ML. Look, the fact that the Bills open up only -1.5 in this game, I thought was crazy. Now we got the Ravens as favorites on the road up in Buffalo. Give me a fucking break. And before it gets too cold up there and before they get that home field advantage there up in Buffalo, when you still get the, fall weather here going, give me the Ravens to just run the living shit out of the football in this game and dominate and get a big-time win here against the Bills. And for some reason, Josh Allen has not really been able to figure out the Ravens. He does not play great against the Ravens, although they did win last time they played, obviously. 27-25. I think the Ravens take this one. The Ravens being a favorite on the road is hilarious against Buffalo. Not many teams I'd say that for because it's the Ravens. That's everybody's Super Bowl champ this season. But against the Bills on the road, seeing them flip to a favorite is crazy. Give me the Ravens on the ML.
So they lost 27-25. Goots, how'd they lose that game? What happened? I must have missed it.
I don't know what we're doing here right now, but okay. Everyone in chat saying that shit play, blah, blah, whatever. You're all people that are with Jovan, that Lamar's regular season man. So you should be taking the coin that he's giving you throughout the regular season. Go ahead and fade him in the playoffs. There you go.
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
fair.
Lil
That's
Mickey.
fair.
Lil Mickey. Say it all you want. Give it to me.
Lil Mickey. Unbelievable. Packers. I think the Lions, I'm halfway with you that I think they're going to take a step back, but I also think they're going to find a stride at some point. Looking at their schedule, I think this part where they struggle is these first couple of games out of the gate where they have some tougher matchups. And then they'll start to become the Lions, or at least close to it, that we know and love. But on the road against the Packers week one, sure, SPR, POD of year on this play, but I think the Packers take it. I'm high on the Packers this year, not because of the Micah stuff. I was on, I guess, higher on them before that, but I think this is a perfect situation for not only the run game to flex his muscles against the D-line that is obviously getting healthier, and I think there's room for them to attack them, but I think Jordan Love's also going to take his shots in this game, and this is where you got to find out that little shift in the offense in the offseason, exactly what it means against this defense, and again, another defense that you're going to have every shot in the world that you want to take. Just a question of if you're going to hit them or not, and I think Jordan Love's going to hit more of them than not, so I think this is the point where the Packers put their foot down to start the season and say, we're fucking here.
All right. Go Pack, go. I like him in this spot.
Go.
Not a big -2.5 guy, but I do like the Packers to win this game.
Yeah.
Hopefully that spread keeps on moving up from -1.5. Would love to see a 3 pop up because then you'll see a lot of people betting the line.
Crazy if there's a 3.
Yeah. Yep. All right. W play. Packers win. So do the Ravens. Let's go to move and groove and talk about some dogs. The least talked about #1 overall pick in NFL history, Cam Ward. I was talking to my buddy the other day. He didn't believe me that Cam Ward got taken #1 overall.
Nah.
I was like, the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Nah.
Yes, he got taken #1 overall. That's the overall perception of him in this team for Tennessee. Have you seen one person take Tennessee more than win total, Cam Ward more than anything positive about the Titans? Have you seen one person talk about it? I haven't.
Not too many other than the Gen.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good company.
Yeah.
I think they win this game outright. think they went outright. And Cam Ward makes a statement. The least talked about number 1 overall pick. And you're going to see the sophomore slump inbound here for the Broncos. Everybody thinks it's the Commanders. JD5, he's good, but can he do it all himself? The rest of the team is old. Their defense, nobody buys into the Commanders. I don't know why, after the magic you saw from that team last year. My sophomore slump team is the Broncos. You got Sean Payton, who's going on fucking Joe Madden's podcast a couple days ago. You think he's locked in, dude? Going on Joe Madden's pod, respectfully. You think Sean Payton's locked in? Come on, man. This is everybody's survivor pick for week 1 as well. Join the survivor on Bookit. We'll drop the link in the chat right now. Hurry up, go, go, go. Join the pool. Hurry up, go, go, go. $15,000 worth of prizes. And not everybody in here signed up or joined. I don't know why. It takes 3 seconds. Go do it now. Hurry up, go, go, go. This is the Sean Payton on Joe Madden pod fade POD from me. And I'm taking the Titans plus 8.5, who are getting zero respect. The least talked about QB in, least talked about number 1 overall pick in NFL history, in my opinion. Getting no respect, getting no bets. I will take my chances on the Titans here, getting a touchdown and then some. The total in the game is moving up. If this game was going to be a blowout, the total would be moving down, not up to 42.5. I think the Titans could score a little bit here, and they shock the world. I think my sleeper team this year might be the Titans.
Wow. That would be goated. Goated. What do you think they're going to do? Make the offs?
That'd be crazy if they could sneak into a wild card.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. I think they just win some games they probably shouldn't. I like their win total over. Probably keep it at that.
And on that, fading another team that you are pretty high on, though, which the propaganda started to hit the feed, Krabs, about Geno Smith and his outdoor-indoor splits. I've seen it 20 fucking times in the last probably 3 days. And he's going there early against the Patriots team that a lot of people like, rightfully so. Like, they're going to make some pretty solid steps forward this year, but so are the Raiders. And I think a lot of the questions about the Raiders don't come from the offense, because wide receiver room sure is a little thin. What do we know about Jacoby Myers? He doesn't want to be there, I guess, at this point. We'll see how long that lasts, or if that actually proves to be anything, but the offense is going to be better. We know that. The defense still has some question marks, especially in the secondary, but I think the defense is going to be good. People forget it's a Pete Carroll team that not only did he come there and he's made some big, big steps, I guess, as far as scheme goes, from what everything seems to be coming out of camp, but he also kept the DC that he knows pretty well. And I guess the scheme fits really, really well. So I think there's going to be some solid steps up against a guy who still has an offense in Drake May that I like, still has plenty to prove. And that offensive line has not gotten significantly better. As much as we talked about how good we expect the offense to be, how big we expect the team to be, how much better we expect them to be as a whole, the offensive line is still a question. He's still going to have to see Max Crosby 50 times in his face all throughout this game. So I have my questions, especially when you got Geno Smith, who knows the Patriots well, knows the division well. We've seen him quite a bit. Yes, he is outdoors, where he has had his Jared Goff type struggles all throughout his career. I don't care. I think he's winning a football game. I do think they're covering 3 points, going on the road. Everybody's favorite Patriots, hand him a loss.
I don't know about everybody's favorite Patriots, but I do, I wouldn't be surprised if they cover the spread. And I have seen the Geno hate. I haven't seen much Patriots love, but I've seen the Geno hate.
I think they're a heavily bet. Like, I haven't seen many playoff bets of like teams who didn't make it other than the Patriots.
Okay. Want to check the splits here real quick, see what people are betting on in this game. Raiders are a public dog. Give me 50% of the bets, 45% of the handle. We'll see where it ends up, though, around game time. Maybe that's some sharp action early. Okay?
No, we'll see.
All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some meat. Haven't seen a single Browns ticket out of the 8 billion people on Earth. Looks like a freebie for the Bengals, right? Bengals win the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's back. He's him. Jamar Chase going to have a touchdown this game. Tell you right now, he's not. Meat on tape, Jamar Chase doesn't score a touchdown this game. I guarantee it.
Wow.
I guarantee it.
Wow.
You know why? Denzel Ward is good, and he owns Jamar Chase. He's the only guy in the league that does. We'll talk about that in a moment. The Browns might win this game outright. They're home. They're catching steam, which makes no fucking sense. Back from 6 to now plus 5.5 again, which is huge. And nobody believes in Kevin Stefanski and this Browns team. While their defense is always solid, Joe Flacco has performed great there in the past, and he's back, and he's here for a vengeance. And that Bengals defense is bad. that. Hendrickson is going to help, but he's not going to change shit. Joe Flacco is going to do whatever he wants. Jerry Jeudy's going to have 100 yards. You're going to see the Browns move the rock here with ease. The total in this game's up 3 points as well. Again, if this is going to be just a blowout and the Browns weren't going to score and they were going to suck, this total will be moving down. Certainly would not be up to 47.5. So this is actually going to be a sneaky fun game. This is going to be a back and forth contest. Obviously, the Bengals are going to score as well and move the rock. But Denzel Ward's going to take Jamar Chase out of this game. Joe Burrow, sure, they're going to move the rock a lot, but they're going to have to settle for a lot of Evan McPherson field goals. And the Browns are going to cover and potentially win this game outright and shock the world and start out on the greatest foot they possibly can. Nobody needs to win more than Kevin Stefanski, and nobody believes in the Browns. This is a job saver for Stefanski. I think they get it done. Give me the +5.5, but I think they win outright, to be honest with you.
Wow. That could be the difference. Yeah, Goots is literally splooging for the Krabs card.
Yep.
I want to mention one more thing. Like, if you've watched Joe Flacco over the past couple of years with the teams he's been with, he chucks the rock still. He's still completing passes. He's still competing in games. And Njoku is like literally one of his best targets ever. So if you think they're not going to keep it close against this ratchet defense, I don't know what you're saying. But yeah, we'll be seeing.
I agree, Goots. Not a big Flacco guy because he's kind of a douchebag. Didn't sign my jersey as a kid, but I do think he balls out in this game.
Still slings the rock.
I think he balls out in this game.
Still
tight about it.
Yeah.
Yep. Still tight about it. All right, Javon's taking his Bucks.
Yes, one of the few times early in the season I will do it. Probably, maybe the only time until they get healthy, because the injuries will pile up, especially like week 2. They're on the road in Houston like Monday night. That's going to be a little tough with the injuries they have, but this is a game they've had circled, I've had circled for quite some time now. And I especially think what I think is so good about this team, the offense is going to be great no matter the injuries. But going through this year, why I think they're going to be so much better is a little bit of the defense. I think it fits Todd Bowles' scheme a little better, of all the pressure he wants to bring, all the exotic blitzes he wants. He wasn't able to do that a lot last year, and I give him a lot of shit for it. But he wasn't able to because the defense behind him, behind those pressures, was going to get overexposed, and they were super injured. But now, as that back end is a little healthier and they got the new guys in, it's going to be great. And I especially think with the Falcons, they're also dealing with injuries that nobody really wants to talk about. 2 are starting on the offensive line. What do you think Todd Bowles is going to do? He's licking his fucking chops, especially because both of the games last year, where these games usually split more times than not throughout the regular season, and games get weird on either side. The 2 games last year, one of them was on national TV for the whole world to see, which Rachaad White, shout out the fumble, but Kirk Cousins threw for 500 yards. The Falcons won in overtime. He swag surfed all over everybody. They didn't like that. Couldn't do anything about it, though, because 2 weeks later, they were playing them in Tampa with 75,000 different injuries, including on the defense, Godwin, like all the wide receivers for the most part, all hurt. Crazy game that had like 65 points. Kyle Pitts fumbled on the goal line. They didn't call it or didn't review it. They won on that touchdown, won by, I think, 6 points or 5 points or whatever it was. So they've circled this game heavy. And now, again, like the Bucks defense is as probably healthy as it's going to be for the next couple of weeks. They're going to be fine, but I also think Todd Bowles, again, licking his chops and bringing pressure on Penix, which Penix, people forget, like he's great when he has a clean pocket. When he doesn't have a clean pocket, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in college. He hasn't had a situation in the couple games he's played where he's really been pressured with a bunch in his face, and I think you're going to see that plenty. Todd Bowles is going to bring a ton of pressure, so effectively, this feels like, to me, Michael Penix's first real start against the DC that's going to give him all this exotic pressure looks, which I think is going to be a tough situation for him. So on the road, the Bucks are dealing with all these injuries. They're still the favorite. I think that should tell you something right there, coming off of getting swept.
We got a 5-unit sub whale coming in from Nerfy Chad. Thank you, Chad. You're him. We appreciate the subbies, my man. W's. I'm sure you're excited for Thursday Night Football, my dude. All right. Let's talk some squares. Guys, Daniel Jones is better than Anthony Richardson. If you disagree, you're wrong. But if you think he's going to go off in his first game on his new team, I want what you're smoking. Plain and simple. That's also incorrect. He won't. And I like the under in this game. I like the Dolphins in this game. I like the under. I'll probably be on that under. I want to fade both offenses here in this game, especially the Colts. And if you go look at this category, there's only a couple squares up in this category. And Daniel Jones, look, this might not be a chart fade. This is just a, fading Daniel Jones. And I think if anybody scores on this team, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor for the Colts, who nobody's talking about, but had a pretty darn good year last year when he was healthy and played. And I think he has another good year this year too. What does Daniel Jones do? He makes his running backs look really good. I don't know how or why, but he does. Every team he's been on, his running backs have looked great. So Daniel Jones, less than 1.5 pass plus rush plus receiving touchdowns. If he even gets them down to the goal line at all, or close or in the red zone, they're going to feed Jonathan Taylor 100 times in this game. Jonathan Taylor has a goblin touchdown square up there on Prize Picks, and for good reason. If anybody scores for the Colts in this game, it's going to be him, not Daniel Jones.
Sure. And on that.
Meat on tape, Jamar Chase. He's not scoring a touchdown. Guaranteed.
Wow.
Guaranteed. The one guy that he's struggled with in his career is playing cornerback for the Browns. He's even said multiple times in interviews, who's the one guy who has your number? Who's the one guy you don't want to face? It's Denzel Ward. And Denzel Ward has his number. I don't know what it is. But look, the Bengals are at the point where when they face off against the Browns, which they do twice a year, they don't even pass Jamar the rock. Go look at Jamar's stats in games against the Browns of late. He doesn't even get the rock compared to other games where he's getting 10, 15, 18 targets a game. Against the Browns, they don't even throw him the rock. They go to it's usually the T. Higgins game, typically in this spot. So Jamar Chase, he ain't scoring. This looks like the freest square on the entire Prize Picks board for the weekend. And what do we know about the freest squares on the Prize Picks board for the entire weekend? You fade those, you're hitting 60+% of the time. Love bait on this side. Take the less than for Jamar Chase. I guarantee you he's not scoring against Denzel Ward.
Wow. Love the meat being thrown around, Krabs.
I'll back it up here. It's 38 catches for 404 yards, 3 touchdowns in 7 games against the Browns. He had more receiving yards against the Ravens in 2 games last year than he does all the time against the Browns.
That's crazy.
Yep.
He does not play well against the Browns.
It's actually insane.
W. Goot Snug.
My
Love
God.
that.
My
Love that.
God.
What?
I got some squares, Krabs.
All right. Let's hear him.
If you think the Titans are going to keep this game close, maybe win, which I do, you're going to have maybe the best cornerback in football in Calvin Ridley. And then a lot of unproven, receivers, in the room behind him. Iomander is getting a lot of smoke because he's officially wide receiver 2 now. Who knows what that's going to be. You got Chigga Okonkwo, who's going to be the tight end. He'll be featured a little bit. But beyond that, where's the ball going to go? Especially when you have a defensive front that's going to have a lot of pressure, you'd think, in Cam Ward's face. The offensive line, still not proven in my eyes, and I don't think it is to any, especially when you're going against that good of a D-line. Tyjae Spears is out for, I think, the first 4 weeks. Cam Ward is a smart quarterback. He's not afraid to take a dump down as much as he wants to throw deep. He doesn't want to do it against that offense or against that defense, Tony Pollard is going to have to be up and moving in the receiving game. I don't think this offense has any other option. And I think to move the ball down the field, especially again, Cam Ward's on the road. This is a crazy start for a first, rookie year quarterback on the road in Denver against that defense. Got to be smart. And I'm sure the play calling includes a lot of very short underneath options, and they've game planned for that. I think the easiest way to do that is with Tony Pollard in the receiving game. And he has a couple pretty weird squares up outside of just this receiving yards, which is a little higher because of Tyjae Spears not being in the fold, but I think this is your dump down option. I don't think the tight ends are going to be that for Cam Ward in this game. So I'm taking Tony Pollard. And then Tucker Kraft. They spent the whole offseason trying to figure out different ways to get this guy the ball in his hands, which is why I've drafted him so many different ways. And, the Packers love their misdirection, get guys out in space. They especially do against the Lions. I think you're going to see that a bunch. And I also think you're going to see the tight end that led the entire league in yak. He's going to get the ball with chances to do that against this Lions defense. And I think that's going to be pretty key to them winning, especially with all of the injuries they're dealing with in the wide receiver room. So I think Tucker Kraft is going to be a huge, huge part of this game plan, especially in the play action where they want to run the ball with Jacobs a billion times and then take their play action shots. I think Tucker Kraft is a guy they want to get the ball in his hands off of a lot of those. So again, one of the reasons why I'm drafting him, and I think he's going to be in store for a big year. And I think if he has the role that we're all expecting him to the first couple weeks of the season, you're probably not going to see the line here for too much longer. So kind of vowed that I was going to jump on it when it makes sense early on.
Love these 2 squares from you. And yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Ridley as an investor, in multiple fantasy leagues, as a guy who said he's going to win you your fantasy leagues. I don't know if he's going to have the best week 1 kind of the same vibes as Dak here for tonight, right? Big
Yeah.
on Dak this season, but a little concerned tonight in week 1. So would you bench Calvin Ridley in week 1?
I probably would. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's my survivable pick, scored touchdown.
No
Okay.
way.
Might
We
be
might,
cake,
need to,
but
we might need to switch that out, Gucci.
I might keep.
Okay.
It was like gut right when we like launched the website. I was like, I'm picking Calvin Ridley.
Fuck. Maybe Goots is
Well, I
dialed.
hope you're right.
We'll see.
Maybe he's locked.
I hope you're right. If you guys have not joined, we're doing 2 survivor pools. We're doing a normal survivor pool, and we're doing a prize pick square survivor pool, both on the Bookit Sports website that just dropped. If you guys could drop the link in the chat, that'd be great. Please. Yeah, it's pinned in the chat. W's. Guys, please join the survivor pool. It's really one of the only free survivor pools you're going to see around, with up to $15,000 in giveaways between the 2 pools. Get involved. Sign up now before you forget, because I promise we're not doing BTL tomorrow, so we're not going to be here to remind you tomorrow. You're going to forget over the weekend if you don't sign up and join now. Hurry up, go join the survivor pool right now. Hurry up, go. Do it now. Go. We got Coltrane's coming in, resubbing as well for 25 months. W Coltrane's. We appreciate you, Beast. W's. All right, I want to go to Pick a Pro here and talk about the rest of the NFL games. That's what I want to spend some time on here. You down?
Yep.
That way, hopefully, people could come back here this weekend before the games on Sunday and rewatch and get their plays, get their winners, get their coverage. Or if they're not able to make the entire show today, big 2-hour Megalodon app, they can go back and rewatch on the YouTube this weekend. Let's talk about the Chiefs and Chargers. Do you have any comments, thoughts about the Chiefs and Chargers, who I believe are playing where in Brazil? Sao Paulo in this game. Do you have any thoughts, any comments on the Chiefs and the Chargers in this game?
Well, just in general, I understand, I guess, where it's coming from a little bit. The sense that the Chargers and or the Broncos are just going to come and win this division. But I was fully expecting after last year, there's going to be a lot more Chiefs revenge talk, Mahomes revenge talk, but it all seems to be that the Chiefs, I guess, run is over. That's why there's 50,000 different boosts on every single book for anybody to win the division other than the Chiefs. I don't understand it in week 1, where I also see plenty of bets on the Chargers. I like to take my very few chances to bet on, I guess, the Chiefs or whoever is like one of the best teams in the league or the best teams in the league, because I don't get them very often. This feels like one.
All right. Guys, this game is tomorrow night, by the way, if you're not hip. Friday night NFL action, which is absolutely epic. Gonna have to compete with the maybe game of the year, JMU at Louisville, which is also going to be cinema tomorrow night.
Maryland also plays, yeah. Malik
And
Washington. Go.
Yep. Big time. I mean, Pacheco squares make it seem like the dude had no legs last year.
Yeah. Well,
Crazy.
a lot of those games he was getting like 3 carries because he was hurt. So like the charts are ridiculous, but it's kind of fake charts.
Okay.
But I'm down. I'll be betting on him absolutely tomorrow.
What are you going to take, you think?
His fantasy score, of course.
Keep it simple. Hope he gets a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, the catch or receiving game squares are pretty interesting, especially when nobody thinks he's going to be able to catch a pass, because Kareem Hunt and Rashard Smith are apparently Calvin Johnson. But he's got some squares up there too. And I, of course, want to include the touchdown, because I think he's scoring 6 of them this year at the very least.
Do we think this Chiefs defense is going to be as good this year as they were last year?
No, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't think they're going to need to be either. It's like I also think the Chiefs defense was good last year. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of it we over exaggerate in our minds a little bit, because the Chiefs offense was a lot more slow and methodical than it will need to be this year. I think this year it's going to be a lot more explosive, especially when they get, their full cast of characters back and Rashee Rice is back on the field. But even now, like, I think there's going to be more possessions for the Chiefs.
Yep. I kind of like the over in this game, but I'm scared to bet a standalone game over.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on points? Look at the splits here, too. Pretty evened up on that total.
The over hit last year in this game. It was Cowboys-Packers. I think defenses have a hard time getting footing on that field.
Yeah,
Yeah, the field
Eagles,
sucks.
Eagles, Packers. I think it was a squad ride too that day.
Yeah, it might
I'm
have
pretty
been.
sure. But yeah, I mean, I guess the part that would keep me around is not only, I mean, I know they changed out the field, I guess, trying to make it less moose shit, but realistically, there's not much you can do. If you're taking the game to Brazil internationally, probably want to see some points, want to see a show, especially when the best player, the face of the NFL, goes there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a standalone over, but if there's anyone to take, might be that one.
Yep. I agree. I could see some points. Some interesting tidbits about both QBs, too. They both had pick squares up. They originally only had a Herbert 1.5 demon interception square up, but now they do have a half interception demon square along with that. So that makes me think he's probably not throwing a pick. And I was originally thinking about taking Herbert more than picks in my goat whale, more than 8.5 picks after he only had 4 last year. But I thought that might even be a little too cute. And maybe the guy just doesn't fucking throw picks. But let's not forget he had 4 interceptions against the Texans in that playoff game.
That was,
last year.
the worst performance I've ever seen. I mean, that was
Crazy.
god awful. That was
When the lights are bright, he plays like shit. And the lights are going to be bright in this game. So that worries me a
lights are
little
going to
bit.
be bright, but not as bright.
Maybe it's just the Chiefs.
Plus, you might have Madison Beer in crowd, dude. You might joke.
You think she's going to Brazil, bro?
You might go to Brazil,
Maybe.
even if she's not in Brazil. That's a cap tip confidence boost. You know, you're coming home to that.
Yep. Shitty field. I like Mahomes less than 3.5 rush attempts as well. And that chart is super duper green. I'd imagine not only the Chiefs, but the NFL is saying, hey, slow your roll, my man. Cannot have you getting hurt in week 1 on this shit field in this weird environment. Stop running the rock. Just be a QB in this one. Don't do anything crazy. Save those runs for the postseason. That's when you typically see Mahomes getting those legs loose. And he typically saves the running for the end of the season when they need it or in the playoffs. So I like his less than 3.5 rush attempts. And I do think Pacheco gets fed. I like Pacheco more than 12 rush attempts, especially if you think the Chiefs win. I certainly would not mind taking that Pacheco square on his rush attempts, although I'm sure he'll just be taking the fantasy, thinking he scores a touchdown. So also, Herbert is the only guy who has that pass plus rush plus receiving square up there too. So I like fading that. It's probably just the Chiefs, man.
Yeah, I think it's the Chiefs.
I think you're right. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about another game we have not mentioned yet. Carolina and the Jags.
This game is my brand of blunder.
Yeah, 2 teams we're pretty high on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what the play is in this one. I'll be honest. I like both teams. Maybe it's the over. Honestly.
Yeah. This might be the, I guess, square over of the week that I can get behind.
Yeah. Maybe it's the over. Bryce
Just
Young
drop
could have a
knock.
pretty solid season. We're big on Trevor Lawrence with your guy Liam Cohn, right?
Yeah.
And I think the Jags win as well. But I really don't want to fade Bryce Young and the Panthers this season. I don't.
Yeah. My gut definitely tells me, I mean, not the same situation, obviously, because of a coaching change and everything new about the Jags that we like, but there's so many times last year, whether it was the Jags or some other mid team, where they would just be laying 3.5, 3 at home, be feeling confident about the spot, and then it's just absolute moose shit.
Yeah.
Might feel like one of those spots. My gut tells me it's one of those spots where maybe it's not moose shit because they're just not horrible in the game, but the Panthers come out and surprise some people.
Right. A little bit worried about your guy, Brian Thomas. I did take him in one of my leagues as well. Brian Thomas, the only popular square in this game, completely greened out charts. I don't know how much higher they can make his receiving yards in a new offense in week 1, but it's a completely greened out chart. Maybe he was just that cracked out last season and I should never think it, but and I won't be taking the less than on this.
Yeah.
I
I
will
mean, his
not be,
line
but I'm
his
concerned
line
about
like
it.
has to be lower because they have Travis Hunter now. Can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, he should be good, right?
On offense, he might. He ain't getting 2 picks though.
I'll tell you a square I do like is Trevor Lawrence more than 1.5 passing tutties.
Yeah, the whole world just locked into his tush push because I guess Liam Cohn said something about it in an interview yesterday.
What do you say?
So I mean, he said that like they have a variation of the tush push that they're gonna do
Okay.
at some point, like whenever they feel like it. So 70,000 Trevor Lawrence anytime bets at the feed. So he's gonna come and throw
Wow.
6.
Liam Cohen's either an idiot and he's spilling the beans, or he's saying that and you're not going to see Trevor Lawrence run one time because he knows the other team hears everything he says. So I'd like to lean the latter, right? And I saw my guy Tootin score plenty of goal line touchdowns this preseason. He looked like a pretty good goal line back. Maybe you see him get his legs loose. I like his demon type. How about that?
That could be huge.
You think he gets any burn in this game?
I mean, he probably gets some. I would assume all the running backs are going to play a little bit. I don't know. I'm not as quick to write ETN off as I think a lot of people are. I don't think he's very good, but I think people sleep on the fact that Liam Cohen wants to find the spots for these backs, just like him, just like Rachaad White. Because I don't think Bigsby or Tootin, respectfully, are Bucky Irving.
Right.
It's like I don't think there's going to be a complete washout of him in the system.
Okay.
Especially because he's the only one out of the 3 that can really – Tootin can catch passes. Bigsby can't. But ETN's like an elite pass-catching back, which, again, if Bucky couldn't catch, Rachaad White would still be a starter.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, not a lot of Tootin squares up, man. Only one. And it's that demon Tutty. Tank Bigsby's rushing yards is actually higher than ETN's. Interesting.
I mean, yeah.
I'm assuming they have a ETN receiving yard square up in this game.
Probably.
14.5. Completely green. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean,
That's weird.
that's like Brian. Like has to be lower because there's another running back. Well, maybe multiple there now.
I mean, yeah, coach said they're going to play all 4 of them. Who knows if that's true or if that's hoopla. He says he's going to play all 4.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll see if it's bullshit or if he's spilling the beans.
It's also the sneak ETN bowl. I don't know how much, if at all, the other one's going to play, but his brother is on the Panthers.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't see any squares up for him, but who knows? Travis Hunter, you think he goes more than his 47.5 receiving yards?
He might. I gotta wait to see how many snaps between him and Brian, like what happens as far as slot usage. Because same as Godwin last year, like in a Liam Cohen offense, slot wide receiver is going to get fed a ton. I just don't know how much burn each of them is getting in the slot. It could be Hunter for a bunch. It could be Brian for a bunch. It could be both on both sides. Who knows? That I gotta see.
Yep. The Gummy One. Getting involved with a resub. So hyped to see the football previews back. Let's hit a squad ride. Yep. Have to today, Gunna One. Or Gummy One. Excuse me.
Gummy.
W Gummy. All right. Yeah, like I've said the entire offseason, I would not be shocked if Travis Hunter does well offensively, but he's not playing shit on defense. He's already a backup on the depth chart. He's certainly not getting 2 picks. And if he tries to play both ways a lot, he's going to get hurt. So that's not even coming from me. That's NFL players are saying that. Devontae Adams said it. He knows more than me. And he's right. He's right. And you know what? The Jags know that too. Sure, he might be a depth piece. Sure, he might play a little bit if somebody gets hurt on defense. Sure, he might fill in a game here or there. But he ain't starting and he ain't playing much on defense. If he does, he's going to get hurt. You can't play both ways in this league. Too physical, too tough, too good.
The way they put up combo touchdowns again.
Oh, yeah.
You taking Saquon and Jalen Hurts 1.5 combo square?
Dude, I almost put that under on the Sharp report.
I was shocked you didn't, dude.
I really almost did.
I'm shocked.
A lot of Saquon love today, man. We'll talk about that Cowboys game here a little bit more in a moment. I want to get through the rest of these games we haven't touched on. How about the Aaron Rodgers Bowl?
Dude, fuck that game, Krabs.
Why?
Oh, yeah, and I did see that. Saquon was a Green Book did have a boost for Saquon to score at even money.
Either a handout first game of the season or they're about to get rich.
Yeah, one of the two. But I despise this game, Krabs. What's your angle here?
I think Aaron Rodgers is a petty motherfucker. I don't think that, actually. I know that.
Yeah,
And
we
he
think
has
we all
been
know that.
waiting. He's been quiet. You heard any Aaron Rodgers talk the last couple months?
No, it has
You seen
been
any
eerily
clips?
quiet.
Huh. It's been a little quiet. I wonder why. Maybe because the old man is shutting up and dribbling, like many have been saying he should be doing the last couple of years. Not me. A lot of people have. Looks like he's shutting up and dribbling in the Big 2-5, and that sounds like a dangerous recipe. He knows he's got one chance left. This is his last season. He's made that pretty fucking clear. If there's one thing he has talked about, it's that. He's making one run, one more try. He's not okay, not acceptable. What happened with the Jets? Guys, how many times have you seen that meme of him running out with the American flag and the fireworks going off? How many times have you seen that meme on your feed the last couple months? 10 plus?
Last 2 years.
Yeah, dude, that is one of the most popular memes for anything in the last couple of years. Aaron Rodgers is a petty motherfucker. If you don't think he's making one last run, going out there, showing up and showing out, carrying the Steelers team probably to the playoffs. Sorry, Goots, but probably to the playoffs. You don't know ball and you don't know A-Raj. He's been waiting patiently, quietly this offseason, and I think he's got one more run in him. And if he loses to the Jets in week 1, everything I just said is hoopla and bullshit. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think he wins this game. I like the Steelers.
I think so too. I'm just very worried that it seems like every single year there's the early season, start of the year Steelers game where short favorite, whether it's them or fading them, that everybody kind of assumes is going one way, and it always ends up the other way. It burns everybody who at the end of the game we're just sitting there like, why the fuck did we need to put coin on the Steelers game? There's always one to start the year, and this very obviously feels like that. I mean, nobody's realistically in love with the Jets, period. And they shouldn't be, because it's Justin Fields' former team, revenge game for him too, sure, but it's against a defense that should have him in fits, have the whole offense in fits. I don't think anybody thinks that he's going to do well against that defense, which is probably the reason he might.
Yeah. I thought that was some respect for the Steelers laying 3 on the road here in the spot.
Is it?
Steelers closed the season losing like 6 games in a row, man. It was bad.
Made the playoffs.
Sure. Who believes in Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, how'd that go, John?
I mean, they're not a good team. I don't know who believes in Aaron Rodgers, but I also don't know who believes in Justin Fields other than Mike Yokes.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you in the game. I'm just worried that this is, I don't know. To me, it seems way too easy. I want to click the button.
Steelers seems too easy?
Yeah. I want to click the button so bad, but at the same time, fuck this game.
Looks like the Steelers are getting a lot of early money on the spread, especially. Look at the splits on Bookit Pro. Jeesh.
That's the ML, I think. Spread's a little more split.
Is that the ML first?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Yeah, it's super small.
It's hard to read it. Okay. Well, yeah, a little too public, but I certainly lean that way. Okay. All right. What about Houston and LA?
You standing on business here week 1 with the Rams?
I don't know if I'm going to play them. But I'll be starting Stafford in a league. There's one league I'm starting in. Again, not my favorite spot here in week 1 with the total dropping 2 points to back Matt Stafford to be his MVP form yet. I think he'll hit more of his midseason MVP form in a couple weeks here. But do I think the Rams win this game and beat the Texans and CJ Stroud, everybody's favorite bounce back narrative? Yeah, I do. Of course. You see Sean McVay got voted the best play caller in the NFL? He deserves it. Yeah. He deserves it. He is. And I'm a coaches over players type of guy. And this is a extreme mismatch between coaches, respectfully. It is. McVay's him. Stafford's him. Stafford might be a little rusty. I've been seeing all these videos, Uncle Phil talking about, oh, it might rain. Matt Stafford sucks in the rain. Brother.
In LA.
This game's in LA. It never fucking rains in LA. Nobody's back in Stafford. Looks like the Texans are. I can't even see the difference between those bars.
Rams ML, a little more Texan spread.
All right, Rams is getting some money there, but Texans spread.
Yeah.
People are taking that +3 to the bank. Huh. Interesting. I mean, yeah, CJ Stroud +3 against the old fossils out there in LA. It looks like a pretty solid play, right? Yeah, I'll ride with the Rams here. I don't know if I'll lock them in, but I lean that way.
Yeah. I don't really have too many thoughts on this game, but
Fine.
one of the reasons that I somewhat like the Texans, Stroud, and especially Nico Collins, other than the fact that wide receiver room is slim. Bobby Slowick is out. Nick Caley is in. You know where Nick Caley came from, Krabs?
Where?
The Rams. Last couple of years, he was in that tree. So if there's anybody who
Wow.
knows a little bit about him and a little bit about that passing game, because he was the passing game coordinator there last year, there's probably something getting passed down.
It's good for the Texans.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yep. Everybody thinking CJ Stroud bounces back in the Big 2-5. I need to see it. I
Yeah.
need to see it. But that's good they got that coach. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's every NFL game we touched on. We'll save the Monday night game for Monday on BTL, but we touched on every single NFL game, whether it was on the Sharp Report or whether it was on the NFL Weekend Preview, or we just went over the ones that we did in the leftovers. We've officially touched on every single NFL game for week 1. We'll love to spend a little bit of time here talking about the game tonight. If you're down, let's talk about it. Look, it was initially all Eagles on my feed all week. Now I'm seeing a lot of Cowboys bets. So, I mean, look, it's week 1. Everybody's betting on this game. I'm a little bit concerned. That's why I'm taking that first quarter under and just hoping for a slow start like we typically see in the first game of the season involving a Super Bowl champ. I'll stick with my first quarter under and I'll run. I'm a little bit worried about some late points here. I'm a little bit worried about the Cowboys +8.5 because I'm starting to see some squares locking that bet in today. Not gonna lie. And now the total's up to 48.5. Is that just because people are betting on it? Is that weird that the total's moving up like that?
No, I think we're gonna see that no matter what.
Okay.
I'm shocked that there's this many, at least picket splits wise, bets on the over. That's odd. I feel like I haven't gotten that sentiment. But I guess it's there.
Also, we did not talk about the Commanders game because I don't want to. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I like the Giants +6. I won't be betting it because I'll get my ass kicked by my buddies if I do. But I lean that way. I'm
Dude,
scared.
no way you're not standing on business.
I'm scared. Look, I tell you what I feel. I'm honest. I'm real. And that's what I'm being right now. I'm scared about this game. Week 2 and on, I'm always scared about the Giants games, man. Facing the Eagles, I'll talk my shit. Probably shouldn't, but I will. Facing the Cowboys, I'll talk all the shit in the world. But for some reason, man, the Giants always play us tough. They do. They almost beat us last year without a kicker.
People forget
and they
that.
were god-awful last year. God-awful last year. And this is a Dable, about to get fired, can he feed his fam? Game of the year for him. And the Commanders could maybe be considered fat, happy, complacent. Do I think they will be? No. But I'm always concerned about the Giants. I'm always concerned about the G-men. For some reason, they just play us well. Will I be betting it? Nope. I'll be rooting for the Mandos. But I'm concerned.
Yeah, fair.
Do you have thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely lean your way with the Giants. I've seen that a good bit though too. So I don't think you're alone. So maybe that's a good thing for your Commanders.
Hell yeah. Look at the ML bets in this game.
Yeah, I mean that's typical. I feel like the ML for favorites of a field goal or more are gonna look like that 90 times out of 90. And pick at least. There's not really any difference ever. But spread. Getting some G-men in there.
Wow. That's crazy. A lot of bets on the G-Men spread. The fuck?
Yeah.
All right. I got new hope. There. Let's go. All right. Some bets on the under there in that game, too. I kind of like the over, to be honest with you. I think Russ puts up a couple, and I think JD5 matches. I like the over in that game. All right. Let's talk about this Cowboys and Eagles game.
There is a tweet that Brinks is talking about that just dropped by the Yellow app, baseball. Freddie Peralta glazing him for 24 consecutive scoreless innings pitched.
Wow. Well, I want to reiterate, really like the Phillies today. I know we got football on, but I really like the Phillies today. Would love to see that maybe get some respect in the squad ride, Paul. Okay. Still got about 14 minutes left. Would love to talk a little bit more about this Cowboys and Eagles game for tonight. Seen a lot of CD Lamb on the feed. He is in my goat whale. So if you're tailing the goat whale, you better lock that puppy in before tonight's game. Are we concerned about CD, though, tonight against the Eagles? Do you think the Eagles are going to do whatever they can to slow down CD Lamb?
I mean, of course, they're going to try that. It's like, this is not my favorite game for, frankly, any of the stars, but especially I'll be down to take Dak and CD most weeks. Don't care to take him today. It's just Dak coming off of a long rehabbed hamstring injury, hasn't really had in-game reps with the offense yet. This is going to be the first. I don't love anything about this offense today, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not even just CD too. Pickens is getting a ton of love. It's just
that
I feel
Pickens one doesn't make sense to me because if the Eagles are going to one thing, it's stopping the big plays. And what does Pickens do? He's a big play guy. So I think that's cake. I think there's a chance that maybe CD gets a couple screens, a couple shorter passes, maybe a couple crossing routes, and they force feed him. And I think Pickens is the guy that doesn't really show up here in week one because it's a terrible matchup for him. The Eagles are great at stopping the deep ball. Hate to say it, but they are. And if there's one thing George Pickens is actually good at, besides causing problems in the locker room, it's catching the deep ball.
Yeah, that's what he does.
I'm with you. I've seen a lot of Pickens tutties, a lot of Pickens yard squares, and I'm concerned about it. Now, Dak's passing yards is pretty high. Now, he is the taco and discount. Not a taco, but a discount today. So, guys, even I'm not crazy enough to fade a taco.
Discount?
I did one time.
0.5.
Yeah, a little 0.5 half passing yards.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually locking that in right now with Aaron Judge. Less than 1.5 TVs.
The way we squeaked that in here.
Yep.
Squeaked
I tried to put 25 on it. I tried to put 100 on it. That was stupid. Yep. The last time I took a discount, it actually hit, which was cool. And it was that Glass now strikeouts. Now, this is just a gimme square. This is a half a passing yard for Dak. So if you guys aren't hip, if you haven't played Prize Picks in a while, tonight could be a decent night to fire it up. They're trying to be nice and give you guys, a free square here. If he doesn't get a half a passing yard, Jesus, we got bigger problems. So lock that in. Maybe not with Aaron Judge, less than. But lock that in with your favorite square of the night tonight. Maybe it's the Javonte Williams square that I really like today. Maybe it's one of the squares we love this weekend. Maybe fading Darian Mensah or taking Javon's guy on Baylor, Bryson Washington, right? Or maybe it's me standing on business and pairing him with Jamar Chase less than half a tutty because he's not getting a fucking tutty. And I'm tired of seeing people back in Jamar Chase to score this weekend when he's going against his kryptonite in Denzel Ward. So you get a lot of options, chat. You can take it with something tonight. You can take it with something this weekend. But I do recommend you guys take that Dak half a passing yard square, use the $25, pick your favorite square, and try to smack something. Why not? Okay? I just locked it in with Aaron Judge, less than half a TB. Or 1.5, excuse me. God, the day they put up demon less thans, man, is the day I do a cartwheel on this show.
Dude, Krabs will have a field day. He might send more squares daily than Trent with demon less thans in there.
Why do we not get demon less thans, man? Give the less than better some respects.
No, he's talking about taking Judge less than half a base.
Got it.
1
Got it.
Yeah. Or taking I don't want to do this, but for example, taking, George Pickens less than 25 yards tonight at a demon price. Right?
Yeah. That would be sick.
All right. I did lock in that 2-piece. Do you have any additional thoughts on the Cowboys and the Eagles game tonight, or any squares you like in this game? Um, the most popular square in this game is CD to score touchdown demon, so he's probably not scoring, and that might be good for your under. Second most popular square would be Saquon rushing yards, and that shit's all the way up to 95.5. That's fucking ridiculous. And I think there's a chance that doesn't hit because your guy Will Shipley is going to get some serious burn in the second half of this game. So
they just put up a Shipley 2.5 rush attempt goblin. Why is that up?
I mean, he's getting 5 carries tonight at least.
I mean, yeah, I think so. But
does that scare you a little bit?
No, that makes me feel good.
Okay.
I don't know why that's even up in the first place. At a goblin, dude? What?
Another square I don't think is hitting is that Jake Elliott 1.5 field goal square. I kind of like the less than on that puppy. Not gonna lie. I think if the Eagles drive, they're gonna finish. They might milk clock, but they're probably gonna finish. And Jake Elliott field goals looks like maybe the easiest square up there on the board today.
Yeah. I'm gonna hope that hits for under better sake.
You're right. Yep. What else you like in this game, man? You like any other squares or any players or angles or anything?
Not too much, man. I think I'm going to take the under, obviously. And if I'm with a side, I'm going to take the Eagles. Maybe I do it early in the first half because I do think if we're talking a little bit of rust, I think it's going to hit Dak and the Cowboys a lot harder in the first half and in the first quarter like you're hoping to. So that's probably what I side with. I might go double up 2 bets in one game just because it's opening night. Splooge a little bit while we're on sweats. But I don't want to get crazy with too many squares because we're obviously hoping for a pretty boring game script here. So we're going to have to look at some less thans.
I was going to say, don't be afraid of that less than button, brother.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of that puppy. Okay? Although there are a couple squares I just cannot be fade. Like I can't fade Saquon tonight. I can't do it.
That's
there.
Kind of what I'm alluding to. There's a lot of
I can't get there.
I don't think Saquon's hitting. I don't think CD's hitting, but I really just don't want to fade those guys.
Fade 'em.
Can't do it. I'd rather take my Shifleys and move.
Yeah. How about Dak Prescott's passing yards up at 250 right now? Is that not high against the Super Bowl champs? Is that high because they're going to be losing by 14 early?
I think
they're going to be coming back and passing.
Yeah, I think it's a little higher because they're 8.5-point dogs.
Okay.
So that's definitely cooked in a little bit. But I don't know. I don't really know what to do with that.
Okay. Would you start Dak or Trevor Lawrence in fantasy this weekend?
No, T-Law. Easy. Okay. Easy T-Law. Dak. I will start Dak, no questions asked, in that battle probably 75% of the season. Not this week.
I mean, Vic Fangio kind of has Dak's number.
Sneakily, yeah.
Not gonna lie. That's why I'm pretty surprised his passing yards is that high. But again, maybe it's because they're down big early.
Yeah.
Okay. If I had to take a side chat, I'd probably take the Eagles at this point. Just seeing too many Cowboys bets today on the feed, and just kind of feels like cake. Not gonna lie. It kind of feels like cake. All right. Like I said before, guys, we are going to craft up a Hail Mary. We are going to craft up a 5 guys. We're probably going to have to do that today, Jovan, to be honest.
Okay.
We will craft up a BTL goat whale as well. I got a bunch of leftover squares, so we can talk about that this afternoon and craft that puppy up. We got Took It With Brent getting involved. We're so incredibly back, fellas. Let's go Took It With Brent at a boy. Appreciate you getting involved. 40-month sub. Holy smokes. What a goat. What a goat. An OG, if you will. Love that.
Wow. Trent says he doesn't have coin for BTO goat whale. It might be free.
That's huge.
Yeah, that might be Ma.
It could be the difference. Holy shit. I can run over a couple squares that I like and let the people know if they're curious. Because I got this note sheet that just has a million. Last night I was in the fucking lab. A million other squares. So Michael Penix, less than 19.5 passing tutties. I really do think that hits. It's crazy how high his passing yards is and how low his touchdowns is. certainly scares me for Penix and Falcons backers. But maybe it's just Bijan scoring, 15 touchdowns this season. That's not a square that I'd be crazy enough to fade. Is more than 10.5 tutties.
Yeah.
That shit's probably hitting. So I talked about the Herbert more than 8.5 picks. I do like it, man. And I do think it hits. But again, it might just be too sharp.
I think if we're taking a pick square, I'd be down to think about Bo Nix.
Yeah. If they're playing a lot of more losing game scripts too, he's going to have to be airing it out more.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. A square that I almost ended up putting in because I just couldn't get over how low it was for a starting running back on an NFL team. Javonte Williams, less than 475.5 rushing yards.
W stack with tonight.
Crazy, crazy low for a starter. Guys, the guy's knee is fucking chopped liver, man. His knee is toast. He just has not run the same since the ACL injury. What's going to change behind a banged up O-line in a really good defensive conference with a real bunch of really good D-lines, especially their division? He's toast. And I'm a big Jaden Blue guy. I think Jaden Blue is starting on this football team in the second half of the season. So that prize pick square would also back me up on that take. I mean, that's just an absurdly low square for a starting running back in the NFL. So I like that less than a lot. I like Kyron Williams. Goots, put your earmuffs on. I like Kyron Williams less than 999.5 rushing yards after he's had about almost 3,000 rushing yards combined the last 2 seasons. Hate to say it, but I'm just sniffing it out. God forbid he gets hurt this year. Would hate to see that, but Sean McVay is already saying he is going to limit the carries a little bit from Kyron, kind of trying to get ahead of the injury. That's why that's my GOAT coach, because he's fucking smart and he sniffs his stuff out as well. So he said it to the media. He's going to limit as much as he can. I mean, if the rush game's working, it's working, but he's going to involve the other 2 running backs on that team. Who is it? Corum and who's the guy they just drafted? Jaquez Hunter, who I actually like.
Jaquez Hunter.
I know you're not a big fan, but I like him. And I think if Sean McVay picks a guy like that, a little higher than people expect, kind of like when the Lions took Tesla, and he's looked great so far in the preseason. But again, that's preseason. Kind of think, you trust those good coaches and, they're taking these guys for a reason. Would not be surprised to see Hunter getting involved in the offense as well this year at some point. So I certainly like that less than. It's crazy. Breece Hall. I talked about it during the Jets. When we talked about the Jets a couple of weeks ago, Breece Hall was at 950 rushing yards. I went back and checked the doc. Breece Hall is now at 850 rushing yards for the season. He's gone down 100 yards.
Wow.
Crazy. He went down so much I couldn't even put him in my fucking go whale because I know my ass will end up with 851.
That's nuck.
Yeah, crazy. But I like that square too. Cortland Sutton. I mean, the guy, people are acting like he's fucking Gronk or Terry McLaurin or Mike Evans after he had one good year last year. And he is a captain and a leader and a good dude, so I really don't want to fade him. Love the guy as a person. And he's really the only receiving weapon that team has. Like, I don't know what the hell they're doing out there. Less than 875.5 receiving yards. I mean, just absurdly low after his season last year. Absurdly low. Absurdly low.
You got the squares.
Yeah. I like your guy, Buka, more than 825.5 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Crazy that it's that high. He might lead the team in receiving yards. I'll say it.
He actually might. Yeah.
He might. He might. All right, let's craft up a squad ride. W. Goots. Did not know it was already 2 o'clock. Okay. Goots, run that shit. I'm trying to see that train. All right. Phillies on the money line for snacks. Let's put them in there. That shit's winning.
Yep. Don't let it get swept. So
now, what are we doing with? We got 2 other plays that are the same plays but different. What are we doing with those?
Maybe we just put them both in.
What? Put them all in?
Yeah. Right. Or are you talking about? Oh, I know what you're talking about.
We got.
I think we can pick one. Pick one on the diamond. Maybe put both in for football.
Okay. I'm in for that. Trent, I apologize for running over. I lost track of time. That's on me, bro. Been better with that overall, but not today. I apologize. We'll take the under in the Cowboys-Eagles. We'll take the first quarter under 9.5 in the Cowboys-Eagles. We'll take the Phillies ML. And which play are we taking on the diamond? Are we taking the team total under for the Pirates? Or are we taking the first 5 under 3.5? Does it scare you at all that he has that 1.5 goblin or 1.5 goblin square for Skeens?
Not too much, but I'm down to
All right.
go Pirates team total if you feel more confident in that, because that's probably the least confident play on my board from my
Okay.
side.
Yeah, I love that Pirates play.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. 4 plays, 4 winners. You got 2 minutes. Hurry up. Go, go, go. You got 2 minutes. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Trent, I apologize for running early. It will not happen again. I apologize. I will be better with that. Phillies ML, Cowboys, Eagles, first quarter under 9.5. We've got the under. I think it's 48.5 now, but we'll leave it at 47.5 for now. In the Cowboys and the Eagles, and the Pirates team total under 3.5. Hurry up. Go, go, go. 4 plays, 4 winners. 4 plays, 4 winners. Phillies ML, Cowboys, Eagles, first quarter under. The under in the Cowboys and Eagles game. And we've got the Pirates team total under 3.5.
Bang.
Get those votes in, folks. We got Parker's picks coming in, resubbing as well. Keep the same sub energy during Surge stream here today, chat. Make Trent's day. All right, he's bricked up. We got football back tonight. He did the yap already this morning. He's going to do sweats tonight. That's the big 3. Shout out Trent and the squads for locking the fuck in today.
He just posted a picture of the conch too.
Wow. The conch is getting up and moving. Sure.
No way the conch is up and moving now.
Sure. The conch is up and moving, folks.
Nah.
Get those votes in. You got 1 minute left. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Nobody wants to take the under in the game tonight. Nobody wants to take unders ever.
They're heeding the Phil's confidence from you, which I can respect.
Yeah, same. A lot of Phillies ML bets. Good. Honestly surprising. Love that.
Yeah, love it.
Get those votes in, chat. Hurry up. Hurry up. Go, go, go. Get involved. We appreciate all the subbies getting involved today as well. Gummy One took it with Brent, Parker's picks, Cole Trains, Nerfy Chad, Archie Gambles, Budman, Sade Whiteman as always, and Just Gritty. You guys are all him. All right, it's going to be the Phillies on the money line, folks. W stream today. Come back to this show on YouTube this weekend and get your winners if you forget, and we'll